chance to bounce back after last week? Is that case of continuing the second half performance rather than first?
Yeah, listen, I was delighted with how the players finished the game. The response was from a very tough situation. They deserve so much credit for that. I think we said after the game, the way the support acknowledged a home draw, unless that's against the Old Firm. Over the years, watching Hearts, you very rarely see that, and I think there was an appreciation for just the players' relentlessness not to give up and keep going. It was tough. We created 3 times as many chances as Motherwell. I'm glad we scored 3 goals, but it was a difficult afternoon, and I think Motherwell are capable of doing that to teams. You know, I think they're capable, as I've shown in previous games, they're a good side. We don't expect to get it all our own way, but we certainly don't expect to be in the situation we're in. But you know, I think in terms of the response, it's good to know that I've got that in the dressing room. But ideally, you want to make sure that you get yourself in front in games and not make the tasks even more difficult, as we did do the other night. But I thought to score 3 goals again, I think that's 8 goals in 3 league games. You know, we've got a good thing going with the players. There's a real togetherness, a real spirit amongst them, and we're just trying to work towards getting better performances that we can maybe make games like that a bit more comfortable for us.
Are you still working out who your best starting 11 is? Are the guys still, some of them still getting up to speed?
Yeah, I think for managers, certainly myself, you know, sometimes you want players to make it easy for you to pick, and ultimately, obviously I get the opportunity to see the players day in, day out, and we do a lot of 11v11s, we do a lot of work specifically towards a game. So, you know, you're still looking for that consistency, trust as well in a lot of the positions. And there's no doubt we have got a lot of options, so but it's important for us to see you know, that clarity to try and get what we want from the team, and we're working towards that. But you know, I think over the piece, since we've come in, we've picked up more than our fair share of good results, more than our fair share of performances. But for us to improve as we go along, we're going to having that kind of more settled team will be important.
You said after the game that maybe there's still some of the players that are playing individually not quite doing what you are looking for. Is that where an international break was welcome for? You know, you can work on things on the grounds.
I think it's something we highlighted on Monday, and the point being that it's just about trying to make sure that when we play, it's important that Hearts team plays with some element of risk. You know, whether that's risk when we don't have the ball, risk when we do have the ball, and I still think as a team, we're just a wee bit too safe at times, and a bit. We need to be a wee bit more committed at times in terms of not committed in terms of work rate, but committed to what we're doing, and you know, opportunities to take the right options. And again, that's trying to change as we go along, and change kind of put the demands on certain positions of what we expect from them. So we had a good meeting Monday, and we went through a lot of stuff in the video which highlighted a lot of that, but also highlighted a lot of the good stuff. And what we when we did make the right pass, and we were more effective in possession, and we were a bit braver with our work, that there's a element of gain from that. Not only can you gain yourself, but also make the opposition team suffer a wee bit more. So, and I thought that's what Motherwell were good at, to be honest. I thought Motherwell pressed us hard and worked us and tried to make it uncomfortable for us, tried to make that decision making quicker for each of the players. And when that press does come on, it's important that we have the answers when that comes. But also, I thought Motherwell played those longer passes as well. When the press came on, they had the intelligence to play beyond our press, and played a lot of longer passes to try and take our bodies out it. So you know, it was a good game. I wish I could play the game again, to be honest, and test ourselves. But that was a good. You're always learning about your players, and you learn a lot for your team here 3-0 down. You don't want to be that situation, but the third goal was the one that killed us really, in terms of we had a mountain to climb. We nearly climbed it, and you know, I think the response for the players was outstanding, and it's good to know that I've got that in the dressing room.
It's a different challenge that you're facing from Livingston. Obviously, Davy State changed his playing style a bit this season, but I mean, what do you make of Livingston so far?
I've got a lot of time for Davy and what he's done, and I've got a lot of time for Livingston as a club. You know, I thought you know, they had a tough season in the last time out in the Premier League. It's almost as if they had to reset again in the Championship, and that's the beauty of the Championship for a lot of teams that going down and then coming back up and being galvanised. I think with the added investment, it's obviously gave a bit of encouragement to Davy, somebody I speak to often, and I like what he does. I really like what he does. He gets good performances from good players. He has changed their setup, and obviously I think he's enjoying the new pitch as well, which he spoke with a lot of the time. And sometimes I think Davy signed a lot of experienced players, and experience a lot of time gets the job done in the Championship, and he's been trusting those players coming up. The majority of those players getting another go at it in the Premier League, and rightly so. So I think there's good togetherness there from a team who normally wins promotion. There's normally a good spirit amongst them and a feel-good factor. So it'll be a tough game for us, but you know, we're taking over 5,000 fans, I believe. We want to try and finish this little group of games off with a strong performance and result. If we can get an international break with 10 points from 12, it'll be good work. And that's our motivation, is to be exactly that team. And if we can do what I expect us to do, keep carrying the same goal threat, and not be as negligent really in terms of giving up opportunities. I mean, Motherwood 3 shots on target last week, and they scored 3 goals. We've got to make sure that we're better with our defensive work and not give out encouragement to too many teams. And if we can do that, we know what's goals in us, and hopefully we can win the game.
Recruitment-wise, are you close at all to adding anything? Do you expect to add more?
I think we're actively working on a couple of things at the minute. There's a wee bit of interest in one or two of our lads as well, and there's a few kind of ongoing conversations. In terms of ins and outs before the weekend, I don't expect anything to be done before then, but we are actively trying to work on a couple of things that we're hoping that we can get some positive news on ahead of Monday.
Is a goalkeeper one of them?
Well, we're looking, as I say, at a couple of positions. You know, I think it's important for us to try and be as strong as we can be when the window closes. I think in terms of numbers, we're really strong, and I've spoke to you guys often enough about the numbers being just too high for us at the minute. So if we can get the couple in that we would like, there might have to be a couple moving out, and there's been conversations both ways really regarding a few players. We've identified what we want in, and it's up for other clubs to try and identify if there's anything we've got, but hopefully things become a bit clearer once the window closes. I'm looking forward to window closing, to be honest. As you get to this stage, I think it's always a new manager coming in with so many players, turnover. It's already a lot of players here. There's been a lot of players added. Players signed before I came in, players signed since I've come in. And sometimes that can bring a lot of anxiety and uncertainty for players. And you can add to problems that you don't really need, to be honest. And I think it's good for everybody. Once the window closes, this is us. We go as we are, and everybody knuckles down to try and get in the team. So, and I think it's important to say that every player, and I mean this since I've come in, has absolutely gave their all to be part of this. They've been working hard, try to show themselves, put their best foot forward, and sometimes that's not getting the reward for that. But as I say, I can only pick 11, and it's difficult to keep everybody happy. You know.
Johnson, you think?
Possibly, you know, we've just made the decision that we'll wait to see how we'll see the movement of our players, both in and outs ahead of Monday, before the window closes, and then we'll take a breath and make a decision on how the squad's looking after that.
Xander back in the Scotland squad, what have you made of how he's gone this summer since he's come back in the team?
Yeah, I think it's a good boost for Xander. You know, he's had a couple of difficult afternoons, but at the same time, you know, I think for all Scottish goalkeepers there is a potential opportunity, and a potential World Cup is a real motivation. So I'm pleased for him that he's in Steve's squad. I spoke to Steve on Sunday, and obviously Xander's a boy that's been playing regular, so hopefully he can get some game time with Scotland.
Does it feel like he's still trying to get back to his prime after a season out, basically? Kind of sharpness.
Yeah, I think he's coming from a long way back, and we knew that when we first came in. I mean, even the first week or so of pre-season, he wasn't really in full training and doing bits and pieces with the goalkeeping coaches. And but listen, it's like we've no other troubles to see it with goalkeepers as a club. You know, the back end of last season and even this season with Ryan Fulton and Craig still not being. Although Craig did do a bit of training this morning, which was encouraging. But we've no other troubles to seek on that side yet. So again, there's loads of encouragement I think for all Scottish-based goalies to try and have that motivation to put their best foot forward, not only for Hearts, the ones that are here, but for Scotland this season.
How about you, team news-wise? Anybody in or out from last week?
I think Bolshevik, Fulton, Craig Gordon. McCart full train today, but obviously he's been doing just kind of integrated work. We've got a closed door game arranged for next week in the international break, and hopefully Jamie will play a part of that, but obviously Saturday comes too soon for him.